our event vehicle in its parking place, and then ensured that the front door was unlocked, and just prepared for Mr. Jackson's arrival.
Okay. And did he arrive shortly thereafter?
Yes, he did.
And what did you do then as Mr. Jackson, once he pulled onto the property, what took place?
Then they would pull up to the front door. I would help opening his door. He would get off. And the fans always gave him a lot of gifts, a lot of cards or flowers. And we would assist with removing those items from the vehicle and then placing them in his home.
Okay. Is that what you did that night?
That is correct.
And did you speak to Mr. Jackson during that brief time?
Briefly, just said goodnight, and he said goodnight, and that was it.
Was that the last time you saw him alive?
That's the last time I saw him.
After you said goodnight to Mr. Jackson that evening, what did you do?
When we finished unloading all the gifts, then we secured the front door, and then we all headed to the security trailer for debriefing.
And was that typical routine?
Yes, sir.
Now, after the debriefing in the trailer, what did you do, sir?
After the debriefing, we all headed out. Those that were relieved would head out, and security would stay, and we just headed home.
Okay. And did you head home at that time?
Yeah, that's correct, sir.
Okay. And were you scheduled to work the next day, June 25th, 2009?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did you report back to Carrollwood the next day, June 25th, 2009?
That is correct.
And what time did you get there?
I got there after 10 o'clock, sir, somewhere around 10:15, 10:20.
In the morning?
In the morning, sir.
And Mr. Alvarez, what did you do when you arrived at about 10:15 in the morning?
Same routine. We would check into the security trailer, see if there was any instructions at that time, and if there wasn't anything to be done, then we would just sit around in the trailer waiting for any specific instructions.
Okay. Mr. Alvarez, prior to today's date, did you have an opportunity to review your telephone records?
Yes, I have.
And did you also have an opportunity to review a summary of your telephone records as to the relevant time period?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. I have a summary of the phone records of Alberto Alvarez, his number being area code 909-273-4846. May this summary be marked People's 26?
It is.
It's previously been shown to defense counsel, Your Honor. Can you see that chart, Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, I can.
And as reflected in the first line of that chart, well, let me ask you this before getting into that. Where were you at about 12:17 p.m. on June 25th, 2009?
Still in the security trailer.
Okay. And at 12:18 p.m., as reflected in your phone records, do you recall getting a phone call from Michael Amir, or excuse me, calling Michael Amir Williams at phone number 562-881-2570, with that call, as reflected on your phone records, lasting 88 seconds?
Yes, sir.
Conversation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And prior to that 12:18 call, do your phone records reflect and I'll just go line by line. 12:17, a call from Michael Amir to you for 21 seconds. 12:17, a call from Michael Amir to you for 20 seconds. And then 12:18, a call from you to Michael Amir for 6 seconds. Again, 12:18, a call from you to Michael Amir for 5 seconds. In those 4 phone calls I've just mentioned, was any conversation had between you and Michael Amir, or were those just messages back and forth or attempts to reach one another?
It was attempts to reach one another, sir.
Okay. Going forward then to the call I had mentioned previously, the 12:18 phone call from you to Michael Amir Williams, lasting 88 seconds. Where were you when you answered that phone and actually spoke to Michael Amir Williams?
I was in inside the security trailer, sir.
And when you answered the phone, say to you, what?
He said, "Where are you at?" And I said, "I'm at the house." He said, "Okay, I need you to get up. Don't cause too much commotion," something to that regards. And he says, "Go to the front of the house." And so I got up right as he said that, and I started heading to the front of the house, sir.
Okay. Showing you what was earlier marked. People 6 for identification. Do you recognize that aerial photograph of 100 North Carrollwood?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And in People 6, you previously identified the... Would we be able to dim some of the lights, just please?
Mr. Sayer?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. If you could, Mr. Alvarez, you've indicated at the time you received the call, you were in the trailer reflected on the right side of People 6. What I'd like you to do, if you could, with you have the pointer there with you?
I sure do.
Show us with the pointer the path you took once Mr. Williams told you, don't make a commotion, but head toward the front door, or whatever the exact words that were said.
Yes, sir. I exited through the front of the trailer and then made my way through this part of the driveway and then proceeded to go through the front to the front door, sir.
Okay. And you've indicated then you came out of the doors of the trailer, came around to the front of the house, to the People 6, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. And while you're walking along this path, I assume you're on the phone speaking with Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Are you relaying to him, in essence, what you're doing, that you're proceeding toward the front of the house?
He asked me if I was walking. I said yes, and he says, "Okay, jog to the front of the house, or speed up." You know, he told me to run, something to that regards. And so I proceeded to pick up my pace and walk, continue to walk towards the front of the house, or continue to go to the front of the house.
Showing you what was earlier marked People 7. Do you recognize that as being the front doors that you've just described?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as reflected in People 7, these front doors are glass?
That is correct.
Okay. And did you eventually then, as you're coming toward the front of the house and you're on the phone with the front of the house to these glass doors as reflected in People 7?
I sure did.
What did you do, sir, as you got to these front glass doors?
I reached out to open the front door, but noticed it was locked, and I relayed to Michael Amir that the front door was locked. And as I was relaying that, the nanny was inside, and she proceeded to come forward to the door and unlock it.
Okay. So you were looking in through the doors, and you could see the nanny come to the front door and unlock it?
That is correct, sir.
As you looked through these front glass doors, could you see other individuals prior to your actual entry into the home, could you see other individuals?
Yes, I could, sir.
Who did you see?
Like I said, I saw the nanny. I saw Paris standing next to her. Also seen Dr. Conrad Murray on the top of the second floor, sir.
Okay. I'm going to show you a photograph. Previously marked People's 8 for identification. Do you recognize what is shown there, Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would this be the vantage point as you're looking in through the glass doors into Michael Jackson's home?
That is correct.
Okay. And so this area here where I'm pointing to the lower part of People's 8 would be kind of the front foyer area of the home?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And as you looked in the glass doors and saw the nanny, and saw Michael's daughter Paris, and saw Conrad Murray, could you please, using the pointer, show us the general locations of each individual, beginning with the nanny?
Sure.
And let me ask, is that Rosalind? So where was the nanny, as best you can recall?
I recall that she was in this general area, and then Paris was right beside her.
Okay, and for the record, in People's 8, you've reflected, or you've used the pointer to indicate the left side of the photograph where there appears to be a chair and a small table. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Rosalind then would be closer to you than Paris was?
Yes, she was.
Okay. And Paris was just behind her, but in your view?
She was in the side of her, sir.
In the side of her?
On the side of her. Yes.
Okay. And looking at People's 8, does this reflect the area where you saw Conrad Murray as you looked in through those glass doors?
That is correct.
Where did you see Conrad Murray?
I saw him in this general area, sir, leaning over.
Okay, and for the record, you've pointed to what would be the second floor, the railing area that looks down onto the first floor level. Is that accurate? And you said he was leaning over. Can you describe with more specificity what exactly you saw him doing?
He had his both hands. I recall he had his both hands on the rail, and he was leaning forward, looking down. And also, I'm sorry, Kai Chase was down at the bottom as well.
Okay. So you've described for the record, you put both hands, indicating both hands on the railing, with Conrad Murray leaning forward, looking down to what would be the first floor area?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And when you saw Kai Chase at this same period of time, where was she?
She was in this general area, sir. In this general area here.
Okay, and for the record, in People's 8, you're pointing to the rearmost vantage point of that photograph, back toward what we're seeing as down in the backyard. Is that accurate?
It was further this way. It was closer to, let me show you. She was standing closer to where this, I believe this is a grandfather clock.
Okay.
She was standing in that location, sir.
Okay, so would it be accurate to say that is about midway then, from this vantage point, about midway between kind of the front foyer area and the rear glass doors, about midway was where you saw Kai Chase?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Kai Chase was Michael Jackson's chef?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Looking at this photograph, sir, People's 8, if you were to proceed through this front area and go to the rear, toward the backyard doors, and prior to getting to these backyard doors, if you went right, as reflected in the photograph, would that be the kitchen area?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So after making these observations, Conrad Murray upstairs leaning over the railing, Rosalind let you in the front door.
Yes, sir.
And what did you do?
I proceeded to go into the house, and then I told Michael Amir, I'm inside the house.
Okay.
And then he proceeded to tell me, okay, now run up the stairs.
Okay. And those stairs, are those reflected in People's 8?
Yes, sir.
Could you indicate those stairs with the pointer, please?
Sure can. These are the stairs, sir.
Okay. And you've indicated to the left, as you described, then would be just behind where Rosalind and Paris had been.
That is correct.
Okay. and those spiral up and go up to the landing area where you had previously seen Conrad Murray?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And you went up those stairs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You were still on the phone with Michael Amir?
Yes, I was.
As you proceeded up the stairs, at any point as you proceeded up the stairs, did you see Michael's son, Prince?
Yes. Getting to the landing of the second floor, I recall seeing Prince walking the opposite direction of him.
Was he upstairs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you proceeding quickly at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you got to the upstairs landing area, did you see Conrad Murray anywhere?
Yes, I did. Once I was reaching the top of the stairs and I came to the landing, Dr. Conrad Murray was coming from a hallway towards the bedroom.
Okay. Let me show you a couple photographs and a diagram. First, let me show you People's 20 for identification. You recognize that, sir, as the top of the stairs as they reach the upstairs landing area outside the bedroom.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you, from this photograph, People's 20, if you were to indicate where Conrad Murray had been seen leaning over, looking down at the first floor, I understand to be off the photograph, but would that be over here to the right of the photograph?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now showing you what was earlier marked People's 19 for identification. Do you recognize that, sir, as a diagram of this general second floor area?
Yes, sir, I do.
In People's 19, in the lower left corner, is this the stairs as they meet the landing as you just previously identified in People's 20?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you came up on let me ask you this, in People's 19 then, would this also be the railing area on the lower left corner where you'd seen Conrad Murray looking down onto the first floor?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. I think we could resume with the lights, please, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Sayer?
Unless it's... Can you still see it clearly enough?
Yes, I can.
Okay. As you came up then onto this landing area, as you've described, where was Conrad Murray when you first saw him?
When I saw him, he was walking in this direction from this area here, sir.
Okay. So you've indicated as you look at People's 19 then, looking at the diagram, he would be coming from the right side of the diagram toward the left side area, which is indicated on the diagram as landing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me just ask you about this diagram briefly. These other areas that are identified to the right, this area identified as retreat, do you see that?
I do.
Okay. If one was to proceed from the landing through what is marked retreat, do they reach a spiral staircase as indicated here on the diagram?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And if you were to proceed through down that spiral staircase, would you come out into the kitchen?
Correct.
Okay. Now, as you come up this diagram, come up these stairs and come to the landing, to the leftmost portion of this diagram where these doors are indicated, do you know what room that was?
I believe that was Mr. Jackson's room.
Okay. And you say you believe, you didn't go upstairs very often, did you?
No, sir.
Okay. How many times in 2009?
I would say about two times, and that was to let his hairdresser up.
Okay. So that's about 2 times in approximately 6 months?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But it was your understanding that to the left here was Michael Jackson's own personal bedroom?
Correct.
Okay. And then, again, just proceeding with kind of describing the diagram. As you come up into this landing, I want to ask you just briefly about what is identified as foyer, second bedroom number 2, this small hallway into bedroom 2 closet, and bathroom. Is this area identified as foyer kind of part of this bedroom suite, if you will?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as you enter this foyer then, where there are doors, where I'm indicating this area between the foyer and the actual bedroom, is that kind of an straight into the bedroom?
That is correct.
Okay. So going back to your to what you observed, as you came up the landing and you're still on the phone with Mr. Williams, you indicated Conrad Murray was coming on the diagram from right to left, and you said toward the bedroom. Which bedroom were you referring to?
To that foyer area.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And were you also proceeding in that direction?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. What, if anything, did Dr. Murray say to you at that point as you're both kind of converging into this same location?
When he saw me, he said, Alberto, come quick.
Is that what you did?
Yes, sir.
At this point in time, did you have a better understanding of the seriousness of the situation, at least from what you're observing or from the words of Conrad Murray?
Yes, sir.
And your phone call with Michael Amir?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Whereabout do you think you were when you actually hung up the phone from Michael Amir, if you know?
Well, I was already in the landing, so I must have been in this general area, sir.
Okay. And were you walking toward the entrance here that goes into the foyer?
That's correct.
Okay. Who proceeded in to the foyer first, Conrad Murray or yourself?
Mr. Conrad Murray, sir.
Were you directly behind him?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Mr. Alvarez, showing you People's 21. Could we resume with dimming the lights?